movies. Music and monsters.
Danger, danger.
Hey, my friends, Dan Monroe here from Movies, Music, and Monsters with a new little segment that I probably might end up doing maybe once a month if you guys enjoy it, that is. You know, going through the numerous comments and emails, I get a ton of questions, so many really good questions that I thought it would be fun to do a quick Q&A video, not necessarily on any specific subject, but a wide variety of questions I've been getting. So let's dive in and have some fun. Robot, if you please. Our first question comes from John S. in Minnesota, who asks, Dan, love the show, but I've always wondered, what were some of your earliest childhood memories that got you so involved with movies, music, and monsters? Oh man, good question. Thank you, John. Well, let's see. My earliest memories, I suppose I would have to say I remember King Kong. Probably my real first movie memory that I was super into. Every week back in the day, we would get these little magazines called TV Guide, and every Friday night would be the Friday night late night movie, which was usually at like 11:30 p.m., way past my bedtime. I literally had to beg my parents to let me stay up if there was something cool on that I wanted to watch, and I kept waiting for King Kong because I had heard the movie so many times without actually seeing it. What? That makes absolutely no sense. Well, my dad was really into AV stuff way earlier than most people probably were, and he had these big reel-to-reel tape decks, and my dad used to record movies either off the television, you know, with a microphone, or he would take a portable unit down to the drive-in, roll down the window, take the portable metal speaker off the stand, you guys remember, unscrew it and take it apart and use these little alligator clips to run the audio from the speaker to the portable tape recorder and record the movies on reel-to-reel. And then we would sit around at night, not watching, but listening to movies like Gone with the Wind, Walt Disney's Pinocchio, King Kong. In fact, most of the movies I think that I loved when I was a kid, I heard them way before I saw them. Back in 1977, it was a really big deal because my friends from school would come home with me on the bus and we would sit and listen to Star Wars, something I have to admit I still do to this day. I have Star Wars on reel-to-reel in my office, and when I'm working, I'll many times just throw it on in the background. So much fun to do, and eventually, yes, of course, I did see King Kong, which was absolutely awesome, and I certainly hope that answers your question. Thank you for sending that in, my friend. Robot, if you please. Hey, Dan, what's going on? I noticed you posted a lot of music videos of you and your wife singing up until about 2 years ago. What happened? Don't you sing anymore? Hey, thank you, Derek, for writing. This is... All right, how do I go about this? I'm not really someone who shares a lot of super personal information. I just never have. I mean, I have a Facebook page that I don't really use, but I decided to answer this particular question nevertheless because it's something that sort of affects what I do now and possibly might affect this channel in the future. I hope not, but I always did a lot of singing. A lot of performing back in the 90s and early 2000s. I had a band that was pretty successful in my area. We made records and CDs. I did John Denver and Johnny Cash tribute shows. Yes, John Denver. I love that frickin' guy. Great music. I met my wife, Debbie, because of my involvement with music. I had a very successful trio group with my wife and my best friend John from high school up until about 3 years ago. And this is just crazy. I literally came downstairs to my studio one day to record a vocal track for, and I'll never forget the song, the sound of silence that I was doing as a duet with my wife, and I quickly realized there was something wrong with my voice, literally overnight. So I thought, okay, I've got a cold, I've got the flu, whatever. Well, it never got better. Week after week, it remained an issue. I just couldn't sing anymore. I still had my low Johnny Cash voice, and I had my super high falsetto range, but everything in between, my upper mid-range, was and still is completely gone. So panicked, I went to see at least 3 or 4 different specialists, and of course I got 3 or 4 completely different answers, but finally came to the conclusion in the end that my right vocal cord, again, seemingly overnight, gave out, weakened to the point where I lost that vocal ability in that range. So that was the end of my lifelong singing career, but you know, it's funny how things work out. It was partially because of the fact that I lost my singing voice that I needed to find a new direction, something new to do, which in the end led me directly to doing exactly what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys about movies, music, and monsters. So life is a funny thing. I'm hoping nothing's going to get worse as I get older, but I do take every day as it comes and stay both enthusiastic and positive, and with the incredible continued support of all of you amazing people is certainly enough to keep me going. I truly appreciate that. Thank you, Derek, for the question. Okay, robot. Let's do one more. Oakley Dokley. Sam from Rhode Island writes, "Hello, sir. My wife and I enjoy your videos. If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 movies and what 3 albums would you take with you?" Oh man, I hate questions like this, but thank you, Sam, for asking. Really tough, but I think I can probably do it. As far as movies go, obviously, Star Wars. No, not A New Hope, just Star Wars. I guess I would then have to say Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I know, right? Beneath, the sequel. But I just freaking love that movie because it was the first Apes movie I ever saw when I was a kid. And finally, I would have to say third would be an extremely close tie between Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. I don't know why, I just freaking love that film, and The Omega Man with Charlton Heston. I know that's not really fair because that's 4, not 3, but I just couldn't do it in 3. So as far as music goes, well, that's easy. Boston, the original, Abbey Road by the Beatles, and I'm going to do it again. This is going to be a very close toss-up between John Denver's greatest hits. Yeah, I know, right? Go figure. And Kiss Alive 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. I just love that one. That's my favorite. I love the sound of that album, and I love the song Domino that Gene Simmons sings. I got a man-sized predicament. It's a big one. You know what? That was a lot of fun, and I certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments, and like I said, maybe this is something I'll do real quick once a month. Who knows? But in the meantime, if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel. I've got a whole bunch of new videos coming up really soon that I know you guys are just gonna dig, and please feel free to stop back anytime as we together continue the conversation on movies, music, and monsters. Movies, music, and monsters.